At 24, Zainab was already the head of her family. No parents. No job. No help. When her landlord gave her 7 days to leave, and her own family told her she was useless, Zainab made a decision that would feed them, and slowly erase herself. This is not a story about shame. This is a story about pressure. And what society creates when it refuses to care. Zainab grew up in a crowded part of Lagos where houses leaned against each other like tired people who had nowhere else to go. The streets were always noisy, generators humming, children shouting, hawkers calling out prices, but inside her home, there was often a heavy silence. Her father, Musa, was a radio repairer. He wasn't rich, but he was proud. Every broken radio on his wooden table felt like a small promise that tomorrow might be better. He believed deeply in education, especially for Zainab. "You are the first," he used to tell her. "You must stand well so others can lean on you." Zainab didn't understand then how heavy those words were. One rainy evening, her father didn't return home. At first, they thought he was delayed. Then the rain stopped. Then night came. By morning, the truth arrived quietly. His tools were still on the table. His slippers were still by the door. But he was gone. Life did not pause for mourning. Her mother tried to be strong. She sold small food items by the roadside and smiled through pain she never named. But sickness came, slowly and stubbornly. Medical bills swallowed everything they had. 2 years later, Zainab stood by another grave. That was the day she stopped being a child. At 18, she became the head of her family, not because she wanted to, not because she was ready, but because there was no one else. No meeting was held. No one asked for her opinion. Life simply pointed at her and said, "You." The house they lived in was one room. One room for her sleeping. One room for eating. One room for arguing. One room for dreaming dreams that never rested. Zainab now lived with 3 younger siblings and an aunt who had moved in to help. The help never came. Only instructions, complaints, and reminders of her duty. Every morning, Zainab woke up before the sun. Not to chase ambition, but to chase survival. Food had to appear. School fees had to be found. Rent had to be negotiated. Failure was not an option because failure had consequences that affected everyone. What hurt Zainab the most was not hunger. It was noise. The noise of comparison. Her aunt would sigh loudly and say, "When I was your age, I was already settled." The noise of blame. If light went off, it was Zainab's fault. If food finished early, it was Zainab's fault. If life was hard, it was always Zainab's fault. The noise of never being enough. No one ever asked, "Zainab, are you tired?" Zainab tried to find work. She walked long distances under the Lagos sun, entering shops with polite smiles that grew weaker every day. Any vacancy? No, she printed CVs with borrowed money. You need connection. She begged distant relatives. Come back later. Later never came. But hunger did. Every evening, she returned home with tired legs and empty hands. Her siblings watched her closely, searching her face for answers she did not have. Sometimes she lied. "Tomorrow will be better." She said it so often that even she stopped believing it. The night everything truly collapsed came quietly. The landlord arrived without mercy. He didn't knock. He banged. 7 days, he said. I don't want stories. After he left, the room felt smaller than ever. Zainab sat on the floor with a piece of paper, writing numbers that refused to make sense. Rent. Food. school fees, transport. Nothing added up. Her aunt broke the silence. If you cannot provide as the first daughter, she said coldly, then what is your use? That sentence did not make Zainab cry. It hollowed her. Something inside her went silent. A few days later, at a crowded bus stop, Zainab ran into Sada, an old schoolmate. Sada looked different. Relaxed. Put together. After listening quietly to Zainab's story, Sada said something Zainab would never forget. I won't lie to you. It's not a proud life, but it pays. Zainab refused immediately. She went home that night and watched her siblings eat Gary without sugar. She listened to her aunt complain about her failures. She stared at the ceiling long after everyone slept. Pride slept too. Zainab did not wake up one morning wanting a different life. She was pushed. By pressure. By responsibility. By silence. She told herself it would be temporary. Just until things stabilized. But survival does not respect timelines. Money started coming. Suddenly, rent was paid. Food improved. Complaints reduced. Her family smiled more. No one asked how. The same people who once insulted her now said, "At least you are trying." Zainab smiled on the outside. Inside, she was fading. By day, she was the responsible first daughter. By night, she became invisible. She stopped dreaming. Stopped planning. Stopped imagining a future that wasn't about survival. She learned how to separate her body from her soul because it was the only way to keep going. Society judged women like her loudly. People pointed fingers and spoke with confidence, never asking how those women arrived there. The same society that denied her jobs. The same society that ignored her pain. The same society that benefited from her sacrifice. Everyone condemned. No one supported. Zainab carried a shame that did not belong to her. She carried the weight of a family that never noticed her breaking. And still, every morning, she woke up and did what she had to do. Because hunger does not care about dignity.